This is your captain speaking, welcoming you to the beautiful state of Connecticut. If you take a look out to your left, you will see the best of theater and dining. On the right side, you will find great local music and film born right here in Connecticut. For the best in entertainment, Spotlight on Connecticut interviews the most fascinating and talented people across the state and shows you what to do and where to do it. Stay up to date with what's going on with Spotlight on Connecticut and enjoy your stay.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Connecticut. I'm your host, John Francois, and I am here with singer, songwriter, and entertainer Willie Nininger.
It's close enough.
Nininger. Is that German, British?
It is German.
German.
It used to have an E in it, but then
Yeah.
lost it at Ellis Island. We decided the name was long enough.
Yeah, for some reason it reminds me of Gunslinger. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so you have a lot of musical experience. Please take us to the beginning of that.
I was born.
You were born in Switzerland in the 1800s.
No, I was. Okay, where should I start? I was born in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And my dad was from Kansas. Went to college on a music scholarship, violin scholarship. And then he decided he wanted to become a psychiatrist, dragged my mother to Manhattan. I was born there till I was 10, went to high school in Westchester County.
Okay.
And my dad was a really good classical violinist. He kept up his music. He used to be in this string quartet with these other psychiatrists. And we always had music in our house, and they sent us to music schools, and I was always in the school shows. And then when I got to high school, I started playing guitar, and I had an older brother and younger sister. We all sang together.
Private lessons on the guitar?
Not really.
Self-taught?
Not really. I studied music theory, but I learned a lot from, in those days you had the record, so you'd play the song, you'd play it over, put the needle back with the parts. I learned a lot from rehearsing from my dad.
Yeah.
Because he'd practice. I'd always remember when I was a little kid in Manhattan, he'd always be wandering around the apartment, playing the violin, playing Mozart and Bach and all this stuff. And he would always play the difficult passages over and over. It would drive me nuts. But, I learned that, you don't play the whole song all the time. What you do is you take the parts that you have trouble with and keep playing those over and over.
Until you perfect it, and then you could play the whole song effortlessly?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. But
really? Wow.
Yeah, that's the way you get to the end and you're able to perform it.
Well, I'm an idiot when it comes to violins, so
well, it's a tough instrument. I asked my father one time, I said, do you think I should, I'm a guitarist, I said, do you think I should learn to play violin? He goes, no.
Yeah. Have you seen a Fiddler on the Roof by any chance?
Yes.
You have. Have you played violin on the roof before?
No.
No? Is that relevant to this interview? No.
I don't think so. That's all right.
So the guitar. Now, any rock influences, blues influences on the guitar?
Well, my brother, sister, and I all took piano lessons when we were little, and we all crapped out at different points.
Okay.
And I studied theory, as I told you, but my ear was always faster than my eye.
Yeah.
And then one Christmas, my dad bought us a guitar. Okay. And that changed everything.
Now, what kind of guitar? Was it electric?
It was actually just a classical guitar, nylon string guitar.
Is there such thing as a classical guitar? I've never
Well,
heard of that.
Usually classical guitar is referred to as a nylon string guitar. Willie Nelson, who's country, has a nylon string guitar, but he's a little out there. Not too many people do that. Eventually, what I wanted to do is get a Martin guitar.
Yeah.
Because Peter, Paul, and Mary played those, Bob Dylan played that, all the big acoustic people played those. Gordon Lightfoot.
Are those your influences, or are those what led you to?
Oh yeah, well,
do guitar?
Influences: Bob Dylan, Beatles.
Yeah.
I grew up in the '60s. Laura Nyro. Have you heard of some of these? You've heard of some of these people, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Beatles, Bob Dylan. Yeah, those big names. Yeah, yeah.
And when I was in high school, my parents were very nice about taking me. Before I could drive, they would drive me down to Greenwich Village. From Westchester County, and we used to see Ian and Sylvia. We saw Joni Mitchell open for Ian and Sylvia. We saw the Weavers with Pete Seeger. That was his original group. Okay. And Gordon Lightfoot, Laura Nyro, Tim Hardin. Lots of Peter, Paul, Mary, lots of people like that.
Now, what is the experience like seeing them live versus just hearing a recording of their music?
Well, you see their show. You see how they react on stage. See how they put their show together. I was... I had the records at home, and my poor girlfriend, I would always make her get to the show like incredibly early so we could sit in the front and so I could see the guitar chords. I remember one time I met Joni Mitchell when she was first starting out, and I cornered her after the show, and I said, "Look, you got this song, Michael from Mountains," and I begged her to play it as the encore. Yeah. And she played it, and I said, I've been working at this, and she uses all these open tunings, which is different than standard tunings. And I said, I've been trying to figure this out. And she said, it's the G tuning with the B down to A. And then it all fell into place for me after, so then I could go home and work on it.
Great, great.
So that's one advantage of seeing people live, is you can, corral them afterwards.
Yeah.
And,
do you prefer performing live yourself as opposed to recording music, or based off of that experience?
I didn't record for a long time, and I was supporting myself performing by the time I did start recording. But it's an apples and oranges thing. It's they're both important things.
Oh, great, great. And now it says here that you have a country, folk, and rock and roll background. So
I played a lot of different music.
A lot of different music. So there's never been a song where you've combined all three at the same time.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But my first big break was writing songs for the Captain Kangaroo Show. I was at an open mic in Greenwich Village, and some guy gave me a shot. I wrote 6 songs in a week, and they took 5 of them. Now, was it just coming out of nowhere, just a lucky shot right there, or did it take time to actually? No, you didn't come to the guy. The guy came to you, right? I was living in my parents' house in Westchester County.
Yeah.
And going in every week to this place called Folk City, which was the first place Bob Dylan played, but he'd left town like 15 years before that.
Okay.
And the way it worked was you'd stand in line with these 40 other people who had guitar cases. Mm-hmm. You get a number. If you had a good number, you'd go on about 9 or 10 o'clock when there'd be a lot of talent agents and people from record companies in the audience. If you got a bad number, you'd go on at 2 or 3 in the morning when it's mostly like drug addicts and psychotics. And sometimes that was the better audience, I have to say.
Yeah, because they don't know anything.
But I did do this for a while, and I got to know the MC. And sometimes she would give me a good slot, even though I didn't have a good number. Yeah. Because it was a little bit of a pecking system. Yeah. And then she said, okay, now there's a new place on Bleecker Street. Instead of 3 songs, you can play for half an hour next week. And you still don't get paid, but you can play half an hour. So this was the first night I'd ever been at this place. No sound system. It was a very dirty bar. And I cut my set short because it was depressing. It was like I was trying to carry the room, and it was impossible, and it was sawdust on the floor, But there was one guy at the bar, and his name was Vic Thomas. If he's out there, I've been looking for you for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him.
Okay.
And he was a producer, and he had a contract with the show to do 40 songs, and he was getting near his deadline, and therefore he was looking for new writers. And he said, after my show, he said, were those your own songs? I said, yes. And then he said, would you be interested in writing songs for the Captain Kangaroo Show? And as cool as I could, I went, yes, I would. So he took me into the CBS studios and gave me a character synopsis. And within a week, I was joining ASCAP. And
now, how is it writing songs for a television show? Are there restrictions on your creative freedom, or was it pretty much they let you do whatever?
I didn't care too much about my creative freedom. It was such a great opportunity.
Yeah, you just wanted to get paid.
I was just trying to do exactly what they wanted to do. It's right. This guy was a jingle writer also. So he gave me some tips. He said there's this one film clip they have already, so if you write something around that clip of feeding the animals at the zoo, there's a good chance they do that. I liked Mr. Moose, so I wrote a song for him, and they ended up using that. It was, I can't really, it was just, right place, right time, I guess.
Right place, right time. How do you write songs about, how do you write songs for mooses? How do they describe that for me?
Well, the incentive that your song might be on national television, that helps a lot.
That does help a lot, yeah. It's just the first question that popped up into my head. So from Captain Kangaroo, now did you resign yourself? How did you eventually depart that show?
It was just a one-shot thing.
Oh, one-shot thing, okay.
The songs were on the air for 2 or 3 years, and it gave me enough money to get a rent-controlled apartment in the Soho, and then I started playing a lot of colleges. I had enough money to pay my rent, so then I borrowed my dad's car, and I played a lot of colleges in Virginia, and my whole family was playing together at that time.
Okay.
And a couple years after that, the Lone Star Cafe opened on 13th Street and 5th Avenue.
Yeah.
And that's where the country thing came in. Up to that time, I was opening for mostly folk acts, Richie Havens, Jonathan Edwards, Livingston Taylor, people like that. And then all of a sudden, I was opening for these people from Nashville. I opened for the great songwriter Ernest Tubb right before he died. And so then every time, you know, I'd get booked with somebody, you know, I'd research them. This is before YouTube, so I'd get the needle on the record, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, as the opening act, we would get a whole different set of requests. So that opened me up to Hank Williams and Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, and all these people.
Okay. Now, what's I'm wondering, like you say you perform at colleges. What's that experience like, performing in front of college kids? Are they more or less tolerant than other folks? Like, what's the audience like?
Well, I went to college, you know, so I was used to it at first.
Are they more honest? Are they like they'll tell you, they'll let you know when you're horrible, and they'll just throw bottles at you, and then you'll
That's
die?
New York. That's New York. But every show is different. You know, I mean, I played hundreds of colleges shows, and you know, they've ranged from, you know, like just people sitting like this, waiting on your every word, to going, "Where's the other band? Damn it!" You know? And when I went to Tufts University, I graduated from there, and I knew the guy that ran the concerts.
Okay.
So when I graduated, I said, "Jack, you know, I graduated. I need some gigs now. You gotta." And he said, "Well, look, if we get the right band in, we'll hire you. You know, something appropriate.
Okay.
You know." And I said, "Well, what do you got coming?" He says, "We got the James Cotton Blues Band."
Really?
I said, "Well, that'd be perfect."
Wow.
And it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I was like, you know, it was pretty folk in those days.
Yeah.
But I opened for them by myself, and it was a tough hour. But eventually, you know, I
an hour
survived.
of opening.
Yeah.
An opening act usually
No,
lasts
I
an
think
hour.
I did 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
No booze.
But it was survival.
It was survival. Okay, but it was a learning experience, I imagine.
Yeah, and it was. I have this arrangement of the William Tell Overture, the theme from The Lone Ranger. And it was the first time I'd ever done that, and that sort of pulled my show out of the toilet that night. So I've been doing it ever since. I used to do that with my dad, too, on stage.
Okay. Now I hear that you performed the national anthem at a baseball stadium.
I've done the national anthem for the Mets 9 times, and have won 7 of those games.
Okay.
And I also did it one time for the Chicago White Sox out in Comiskey. And I've also sung here locally for the Rockettes and the Bluefish in Bridgeport, New Britain.
Great, great. What are you, a soprano, alto, baritone?
I used to be a second tenor, now I'm a baritone.
Second tenor and now baritone.
Yeah, I did a cappella in college. I was in a group, Kenyon College, called the Cocoa Singers.
Yeah.
And I was also in a group in Tufts called the Beelzebubs. We're having our 50th reunion this year. And I don't know when this is going to air, but on February 7th, I'm doing a concert in the same auditorium where I opened for the James Cotton Blues Band.
Great. So it's a throwback.
Yeah, it's a throwback. I'll do my Lone Ranger song again.
Yeah.
And it's all guys, you know, from the group that went on to,
Yeah.
you know, make their living.
Now, did you get any formal lessons singing, or was it just something you could...
I did study voice for about 8 months.
Okay.
When I was about 26.
Now, what's the distinction between tenor and baritone?
Tenor's higher.
Higher. So baritone, you can become a more sexier guy. Baritone is what I'm getting at.
Well, Paul McCartney's pretty sexy. He's a tenor. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think baritones? I don't know. Do you think baritones are more sexy than tenors?
They are.
Well, maybe I should start taking voice lessons again then.
Probably. So, how do you go from sexy? I have no idea what question to ask next.
Yeah.
But,
I have that same feeling when I'm performing sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I know hundreds of songs, but sometimes you stand out there going, duh, what am I going to play next?
Exactly, exactly. For Bob Dylan, is he still alive?
Bob Dylan is very much alive. He just put a new record out.
Yeah. Okay.
I from my days in the Lone Star, I knew this guy Larry Campbell. He used to sit in with us sometimes, and he eventually ended up in Bob Dylan's band.
Really?
And when I lived in Switzerland for 11 years, and when Larry was on tour with Bob over there, I got a backstage pass a couple of times, so I got to observe him from a very close angle, but I never met him.
Did you ever shake hands with him?
No.
Like that?
There was one night at the Montreux Jazz Festival. I was walking right next to him when he was on his way back to the bus, and I said to myself, "Okay, Nininger, here's your chance if you want to say hi. But what are you going to say? You know?
Yeah, true.
Really like your work. You know, and
That could
you
be
know
a
he's
start,
got so many people bothering him. Plus, you know, he has high security, and these guys that put me on the list, I didn't want to risk getting them into trouble. So.
Okay. Now, what's your music like? What kind of topics do you get into? Real life experiences? This all sounds repetition, but go ahead.
Well, I write a lot of my own songs. I have these children's songs that I wrote. You know, I'd never written children's songs before that, but because I had the opportunity, I did that, and I was able to, you know, parlay that into a couple other kids' TV things. I write about my personal life a lot. One time I had a roommate that said, "You're writing too many songs about breaking up with your girlfriend." So I wrote the song called "Save the Life of My Car" for my mechanic.
Great. Now, is it possible to make songs successful out of little experiences like going to Staples at 3 in the morning? Because you don't hear a lot of those songs on the radio. You hear like love, 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 love. Not saying anything against love. I'm just saying like, you know, hey, I'm going to get a burger and I'm going to write a song about it. Can that be successful?
Yes.
Can it? I think you can make it successful.
Okay, well, maybe that's the next song I'll write then.
Okay, great. You have a preference for a burger?
I'm not a big burger guy, to tell you the truth.
Are you serious? It'll fill your stomach right up, I'll tell you that. So do you have a website promoting your music?
WillieNininger.com. WillieNininger.com.
Okay.
So if you check that out, it'll tell you more than you ever want to know about my life. And got a lot of pictures. Yeah. Okay. And I keep a blog every once in a while. And it's also got a log of my performances. And I play all through Connecticut and through New England, New York, and occasionally go to England and Switzerland.
Honest, what do you think about Connecticut? How is it performance-wise?
It's the best place ever.
Is it really? You're not being sarcastic,
are
you?
This is Connecticut, right?
This is Connecticut, unfortunately.
I've lived in Connecticut for 11 years now.
You have? Okay.
Yeah, and it's become my home. I live in Woodbury now. I originally moved here because my dad was in Heritage Village and he needed some help, so I lived with him for the last 3 years of his life. And then I started playing around that area, and now I'm living in Woodbury.
Cool. Now,
but I still travel a lot.
It's a relatively small state.
Bigger than Rhode Island.
Bigger than Rhode Island, sure. That should be the motto. Connecticut, bigger than Rhode Island.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
At least it's not Rhode Island.
It's better than that. What is that new thing? There's sexy. It's still sexy or revolutionary or something like that. That's it. It's still revolutionary.
Connecticut.
I like bigger than Rhode Island. That's better, I think.
Okay. It's still as sexy as the American
Call
Revolution.
Call the governor. Maybe they can get
Yeah, maybe. Malloy. He can't speak, but anyway. Now, what is your ultimate career aspiration? I must ask you that. Like, where are you at a point where you'd like to go bigger than where you are, or are you at a point where you're satisfied where you are, and you just like to keep on going off of that? Like,
I'm always ambitious. I've been playing music full time for over 30 years.
Okay.
And I'm very thankful for that. You know, I've worked hard to do it, and I've given up some other things in my life, so I've been able to do it. But I have no regrets. I enjoy what I do. But I'm always, looking for something more to happen, as I think as any artist.
Okay. Now, you're mostly a live performance guy. Am I?
Yeah, I've produced 3 of my own records.
3 of your own records,
I've had a couple of my songs covered by other people. But lately, I've been supporting myself mostly by performing.
Okay.
I do a lot of assisted living, senior centers.
Yeah. Now, how do you promote your records? Do you?
My fiance is my agent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She does a very good job.
And how?
She makes a lot of phone calls. And she's very good on the phone because she's had a lot of experience doing fundraising.
And what was the hiring
process? And she sings with me also.
Does she really?
Yeah.
So she's your.
It's called the Willie and Jan Band. And we're getting married in May.
Really? Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Where are you going to get married?
In Connecticut.
In Connecticut. At least it's not Rhode Island.
Bigger than Rhode Island.
It's better. Yeah, even better. I mean, Rhode Island, they have.
We got a lot of people coming, so we couldn't do it in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island has beaches. I mean, I'll give them that. But
we're going to go to the beach afterwards.
Yeah. But at least they don't have insurance companies. That's what they don't have. But she's your agent and your backup singer. Tell me like how that process.
She sings
started.
solo too.
So I mean, did she have to go through an interview process, or was it just, hey, you're my wife?
She's done a lot of fundraising in Woodbury.
Okay.
She's the vice president of the Community Service Council. Her name's Jan Scruggs, and she was running the 350th anniversary of Woodbury, and she hired me for the closing ceremonies.
Okay.
Because she knew that I brought people out of the audience, to come play at the end.
Okay.
And she brought her volunteers up to, play tambourine at the end.
Okay.
And then she became my agent.
Okay.
And then we started dating, and then I found out she could sing after that. So it was a nice progression.
Great. So you guys sing together and you're in love. Perfect combination. So you're going to be performing a song for us now, and it's titled
On a Winter's Night.
On a Winter's Night. Now, say a little bit about this song.
This song I started working on it actually when I was still an undergraduate at Tufts.
Okay.
I came home, I lived in this big house with 15 guys. Most of the guys were English majors and played guitar. And I saw all these guys sitting like this on the stairs, but 4 in a row. I said, what's wrong with you guys? And they said, we just got our law board scores back. We all bombed. We're going to graduate. We have no idea what we're going to do when we graduate.
Okay.
And so that just sort of started me thinking, about how life is uncertain and you never know what's going to happen in the future. And this song was originally put on a record by the folk singer Christine Lavin. It's a winter theme song put out by Rounder Records. My song is the title song. Happily, it's called On a Winter's Night. It had Judy Collins on it and Dave Van Ronk and a bunch of other people. And you'll hear it in a minute.
Great. So Willie Nininger.
John Francois.
John Francois.
Francois, it's American pronunciation.
You try to make it as American as possible. No offense to the French, but I'm not from there. So Willie Nininger, and you'll be performing on a winter's night, right?
Right.
Not on a cold winter's night, on a winter's night.
On a Winter's Night is the title.
On a winter's night is the title. Okay. It's going to be a great song. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
You dress nicer than me. So.
Well, I brought my best stuff today.
All right. Great. We'll be right back. And now here's Willie Nininger performing On a Winter's Night.
On a winter's night, sometime when we're all alone, we'll sing every song we know and turn off all the lights. What will we do when the music ends? What will we see when the lights go out? How can you feel when a friendship ends inside out? We're far away, lost in dreams, high above any clouds we see. But who knows when the storms will come? Who knows when the winds will rise? Who knows what those snows will blow in our eyes? Who knows who'll be the first to go? On their way, alone with a frozen tear, in search of a better year, or just a warmer night. Who knows when the clouds will part? Who knows when the sun will rise? Who knows what those winds will blow in our eyes? So just for now, we'll stay by the radio. We'll sing every song we know and turn off all the lights. Wrap the blankets warmly, shut the window tight. Put your arms around me. For all we know, it may snow tonight.
That was great, Willie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John Francois.
It's Willie Nininger. This is Spotlight on Connecticut. I'm John Francois. Thank you and take care.